welcome back into the channel. In today's video, I have a Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 tips and tricks video for you, something I don't do a ton of videos on, but will be incredibly helpful to a lot of players out there that are looking to potentially gain a little bit of advantage within multiplayer or even within Warzone, whatever you might be playing. I've noticed that there are some glaring issues, as I would call them. One of the biggest issues, and what we're addressing in today's video, is that operators seem to have an effect on them this year that make them pop off of the background, that make them stand out. It's almost like they're outlined against the background or something like that. And if you've noticed it, it's typically with characters that are wearing all black or that are trying to blend into the shadows and those types of things. Now, don't get me wrong, in certain lighting they can still blend in, but in a lot of lighting situations within this game, your operator skins are going to really pop against the background and give you away. And if you're one of the players that's like me, that likes to play the game with some semblance of tactical capability, some semblance of strategy, some semblance of forethought, then you might want to consider what you're actually doing with your operator skins and your weapon camos, and that's exactly what we're going to address in this video. I did a lot of research on this, and I also went into a bunch of private matches, went into a third person, went in with my friends in private matches and whatnot, and saw who blended it against the background. And there are a handful of them that are pretty much base operators that most people have access to that are going to be very good for blending in, for camouflage, for strategic gameplay in Call of Duty. If you don't want to be popping off the background like a beacon. I got a lot of flack on Reddit whenever I was diving into these because a lot of people say, well, no skin should give you an advantage, this, that, the other thing. Well, I just disagree with that. If you're going to have your game based in any type of reality whatsoever, any type of warfare whatsoever, then everything you do in the game is going to be an advantage or a disadvantage. The weapon you pick, the attachments you pick, the skin you pick, they're all going to be an advantage to you or a disadvantage to you. If you want to look cool, sure, but you know that you're going to be at a disadvantage. If you want to actually have some camouflage capability, then you're going to give yourself an advantage, and that's just the way that it is. This is, Call of Duty has always been a somewhat, historic, current, near future warfare type of a game. So while the multiplayer is arcade, you can give yourselves advantages. And so what you want to do on the spec grew side of things is you want to look for the operator named Rocket, which is right up here at the top. You're literally number 4 over next to Price, Ghost, and Blueprint. You want to go to Rocket and scroll over to his alternate skin, Scarecrow. What you want is, this is actually probably the perfect example, is operators that have more light green and light beige, light brown tones, because that is going to blend in with most backgrounds in the game. Now, this isn't going to give you any type of advantage in some of the urban settings within the game. Things like Scrapyard, you might be able to get some blending in. Things like Terminal, you're not going to blend in too much whatsoever. So you have to understand that there's not a one-size-fits-all approach here, but some things that you absolutely want to avoid with your operators are any type of hard black. And that's why, just for example, comparing Rocket and his alternate Scarecrow is far better because he has a lot of light, more neutral, almost pastel, not pastel, but light and neutral type of colors that aren't going to pop against the background. They're not going to give the same effect. Whereas if you look at Rocket, he has a lot of black on his uniform, and that's going to pop in this game based on even just the base settings. If you want something that's going to be a little bit more effective in urban areas, Gromsko is a unlock for everybody, is a fairly good operator. He's not the best in some of those woodland type of maps, but he does have the ghillie aspect on his head, but he does represent a lot of those lighter green and beige tones that are going to be effective. And unfortunately, most of the good ones here are going to be on the left side. We do have 1 or 2 on the right side, but most of the good ones are going to be on the left side here that are going to blend in. The next one that you're going to want to take a look for, just the general spec grew operators on the left side, and this is again 4th row down, and most of these are actually very good, but some of them again are better than others. And the best one that I've found that blends in with the environment is Rangers 2. Under this operator, this skin blends in really well with most backgrounds within this game. And it's interesting because the original MW2 was nothing like this. Most of the operators were fairly muted against the background. I think that they did this in an effort to counter a lot of the visibility problems that people were having with the game, or a lot of the complaints that people had with the game. So, you know, a lot of people might be looking for a way to counter that, and unfortunately you have to go with a lot of the more, as people like to say, milsim characters or operator skins, but in reality it's just a matter of giving yourself a little bit of a strategic advantage. And then on the right side, in the Cortax section of things, the best one that I've found so far is Axel, and this is Axel's base skin here. He's really solid for blending in with most backgrounds. He's a little bit darker. He does have a couple black items on his helmet, so he's not the best, but in most environments he's going to be pretty good for blending in. And then beyond that, one of the ones that I like quite a bit is off of Koenig's skin. I have not purchased it yet, but the Ghillie Monster, if you want a good ghillie suit, this one is probably one of the better ones in the game. He does have a bit bigger of a profile, so that can be a problem in some aspects, but he has a lot of the best colors that are going to blend in with backgrounds on most maps in this game. There's a little bit of beige going on in there against the light green, so that's going to help with the effectiveness of his camouflage. Now I want to talk a little bit about things that you want to avoid with your operator skins, and that is anything black on the head and gun in this game, because based on my research, those are the things that people are going to be drawn to the most, especially if you're behind cover. Your head is often going to be peeking over, your gun is often sticking out from cover. Those are the things that are going to draw attention, and those are the things that are going to be highlighted based on the effects that they've put into this game. So operators like Thirst, for example, who does operate with a lot of those good color schemes, has an all black ski mask going on, which is going to be extremely bad for your camouflage capability. A lot of operators in this game wear all black. One of the operators that I was specifically looking at for urban environments was Blaze's secondary skin Wreck, which is pretty solid for urban environments, but the black hat tends to pop off of the map way too much. And so while you do get the slimmer profile of the female, which is again also helpful in multiplayer and Warzone, you're getting a lot of the color schemes that are going to blend in for an urban environment. You unfortunately get the black hat that is going to stick out 9 times out of 10 if somebody's looking in that direction. One of the other operators that I was taking a look at that has a really good color scheme is Raptor, but unfortunately her very light blonde, almost white hair pops in every single map in this game, and that is a dead giveaway. So while your entire operator skin, your camo can be perfect, you're just hair color can pop against the background. And likewise, just to give one more example, Rose is a perfect example where she has a lot of the really good color schemes and whatnot, but her very dark brown hair oftentimes pops out and it shines against the background and will give this operator away and prevent you guys from being able to actually camouflage with your background and actually utilize that good color scheme that is actually going on with the uniform. So for the purposes of today's video, I'm going to go ahead and utilize Scarecrow, and I'm going to utilize Axel just to show you this is a little bit of a darker color scheme versus Scarecrow's, which is a little bit more of a beige, lighter color scheme, and go through a private match and show you guys how well they can blend into various areas on the map. Alright, so we're first starting off here with Axel, and you can already see just standing against this background, you can already see a fantastic example of the color schemes and the things that I'm talking about. If you just look at him standing against the grasses and the neutral tones that are going on in front of him, you can see that most of his body is somewhat blending in with what's going on in front of him, but that black patch, I think it's goggles or something on the back of his helmet, just absolutely pops off the map. And you can imagine, based on previous Call of Duties, MW2 and Modern Warfare, you went with the all dark characters, the characters that would blend into the shadows and whatnot. That all black is going to just absolutely pop against the background, especially with the addition of the effect on operators that they added this year to kind of get them to pop even further off of the background. And just simply laying into the grass here, you can already see how effective this camo can be. And what I'll also try to do here in this video is show you guys an all black operator and what that looks like. And then you're going to want to stay tuned for the end of the video, where I'm going to talk about some weapon camos that are fantastic for blending in this game, because one of the biggest issues that you can have in this game as well is your gun popping out and showing, which is something I talked about. And oftentimes camos in this game don't cover the barrel of the weapon, and you need it to cover the barrel. It needs to cover the whole gun in order for the character to blend in. And so you can see that this isn't a perfect camo here. I can blend in pretty easily with these barrels. Now we've changed over to Task Force 141, and we're taking a look at Scarecrow. Scarecrow, again, an operator that is going to blend in really well with his environment. This is my favorite one. As you can see here, as we get into this bush and this grass, we are literally invisible. I mean, if you don't catch us from the right angle, you're not going to see us laying here. And then here you go, here's Koenig. This is just to bring it full circle, where we talked about how the operator, just standing against the background, Axel was able to blend in somewhat. And now we're taking a look at Koenig. You can see how much the dark black just absolutely contrasts against the background colors in this game. And this is kind of what I'm talking about, even in urban areas, even in maps that are black and gray and neutral, like in that color scheme, that you would think something like this should blend into. It doesn't. It pops off of those color schemes because the MWIII color scheme of the maps has always been a bit muted. I mean, you can see if you look off into the background, there's a bit of fog. It's almost like everything is hazed over. So if you see an all black character running through this area over here, of course, the black is going to stand out against all of those beiges and browns that I'm aiming at over there. But if you get an operator that's a little bit more beige, a little bit more brown, a little bit more light green, they're going to blend in a little bit more with that hazy, neutral mutedness of the MWIII map color schemes. And now as we go to look at the camos, all I ask is that you guys like or dislike the video. I understand that this video is not going to be for everybody. I know that there are people that disagree with the take that you should be able to do these things within the game, should be able to, you know, play a little bit more tactically like this. And I know that there's going to be people that disagree with how much I talk in my videos, but nonetheless, I hope that this was helpful to somebody. And if it was, leave a like. If you don't like this topic, if you don't want people playing this way, leave a dislike. That's fine. But here are a bunch of different camos that are very good for blending in. We'll actually jump into each of them, but I want to show you them on the weapon as a whole here, because they extend from barrel all the way through the stock, which is really important, because when you start getting those black parts that pop out, again, those are things that stick out against the map and stick out to your opponents, because it's not as muted as the map is and the color scheme is. And so there's a whole bunch of them here that are relatively good. If you want to go for a tiger stripe, if you want to go for a spray painted traditional type of camo, there's digital. There's actually a couple of digital ones that are pretty good here. There's just base colors that can help prevent your weapon from sticking out. So if you want a camo that's not too different than just the base weapon, you can get something like an olive green here. My personal favorite here is going to be the Savannah camo, and this one is located under the tiger section, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so right here under the stripes section next to tiger. You might need to do a challenge. This here says get the cast off 545 to level 13 and then get 50 eliminations with it. So you know, that's not difficult. That's one of my favorite ones within the game. And then again, these ones over here, just the base colors, just so you guys can see, they're just under the individual color schemes. So you have olive, you have sand, desert hybrid, urban digital, arid digital, and marsh digital. These are all going to be really effective for helping your weapon to blend into your operator and have the whole thing blend into the environment. So like I said, hopefully this was helpful to somebody out there. The reason that this was even inspired was because I've always tried to do this with my operators. I've always tried to have a little bit of strategy to why I'm picking the things that I pick, but because we've been trying to go for nukes, and if you know anything about this game, your streaks don't stack and count towards a nuke in this, so you really have to stay alive. You have to have survivability, and when you're popping against the background, one of my biggest issues with this game, one of the things that I see all the time is like, man, that guy's like miles away and he is just popping off the background. Like, there's no way I should be able to that easily see that guy from that far away popping off the background. When I see stuff like that, I'm like, well, I'm obviously also popping off the background, and I'm not going to get a nuke if everybody can see me no matter where I go, and I look like a beacon saying, hey, take me out. So, you know, hopefully this video finds somebody. Hopefully somebody finds it useful. If you did, leave that feedback, leave a like, leave a comment. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a good one.